Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie and welcome back to Secondhand Sickness. And so, back at the carboot sale, place looks pretty packed even though the weather forecast wasn't the best. And yeah, I'm pretty fucking psyched, so let's just get into it. Alright, so I am pretty much done for the day. Not a whole lot of finds, essentially just scored like basically a couple of things, but I might throw in some bonus items for you just to get some content in there. But for now I'm just gonna drive back and then we're gonna see just the few things I found, so just stay tuned. Alright, so I'm back at my reviewing table, back in the man cave, and we might as well start with the stuff that I actually found at today's car boot sale. And the first thing I want to present is this really cute little, well, I'm not sure if it's vintage, but it does look kind of vintage. And it's essentially just a simple lighter, which has this cute little gray alien figure on it. And on the back, you actually have a couple of these little UFOs. So yeah, I really like the look of this. Didn't cost too much. I think it was something like, I don't know, €1, maybe 2. I think it was €1, quite cheap. Now, I will say that it doesn't actually light up, but I'm guessing I could just fill it up with lighter fluid and it will be good to go. But regardless of which, I thought it was a really cute, nice find. And I checked online and these don't appear to be, you know, especially collectible. I think you can probably find one of these for, I don't know, something like €10, €20, depending on, you know, well, I suppose the pricing, but yeah, it's definitely not a collectible. I just want to sort of let you know about that. So that's the first thing. Now, secondly, I found a VHS tape, which is actually an adult tape, and it was something I was really excited about and quite surprised because I've never actually seen this label. And it is something called the Scandinavian Model Guide. This is from something called SVP, Scandinavian Video Production, and it just says Swedish erotica, and then it says the Scandinavian Model Guide. Normally, you know, you flip the tape over, it will be at least the right way, even if it has like a double-sided cover where you will have, you know, a movie or 2 movies on one tape. They tend to be printed the right way, but this is actually printed upside down, so very odd. But in any case, on the back here, it just says Swedish erotica, and then you have a small listing of the sort of content scenes for this video. And you know, I sort of browsed through this just to see what it is. And essentially what you have here is, first off, something called the Scandinavian Model Guide, which caught my eye because it says right here on the front SMG11, and then it just says a name and a local town. So this seems very much like a local production. And I did look up this woman on the cover. I forget the last name now, but she is essentially pretty famous in Swedish erotica circuits. It seems like she did a lot of sort of amateur porn movies back in the day. And generally what this is you will have this sort of startup screen that just says like Scandinavian model guide. And then you will get a variety of clips of her pretty much just masturbating outside. And there will be like these flashes with inserts to let you know how you can hire this person. It's essentially a model guide which is aimed towards people who produce amateur porn or nude photography, whatever. Anyone who would be interested in getting in touch with this local gal. So very porn themed and very odd, I have to say. It has this really catchy sort of 80s bizarro music. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just a very, very old tape. It was made in 1989, so quite a late tape. I was sort of expecting this to be early or mid-80s. But yeah, so copyright 1989. Very odd find indeed. So that was my second pickup of today. I think I paid, what was this? This was 50 Swedish crowns, so that's €5, but I'm pretty happy with that, seeing as I've never seen this series or this video label before, and always think it's kind of funny when it's Swedish produced stuff that's produced locally, because it tends to have some really cheesy and cringy Swedish dialogue to it, which this also does. So that's pretty funny. Next up, I thought we would take a look at some online finds. Well, I did pick up one more thing actually. This is a spiked collar for dogs. I sort of grabbed it because I like the color, and I do like to sort of, you know, dress myself with spiked wristbands and sort of punk look. And right now I'm actually looking for a variety of spike halter wristbands in various colors, because I would like to sort of expand my general wardrobe so I can sort of wear matching spike collars and wristbands and stuff if I have, you know, a blue t-shirt or whatever. So this is pretty fun. This only cost me €2, so pretty cheap. And you know, I'm generally just very into clothing. And that also brings me to my next item, which was an online find, but I actually picked this up today. And this is a belt. Not sure when this was made, but it's a really cool and nice looking Diesel belt. Diesel is obviously a clothing brand, but I really enjoy this because it has this really heavy duty leather to it, and then it actually has these really cool looking metal letterings. And I have a similar belt from Diesel, so I think this is a style that they sort of, you know, came back to during some of their years in production. But yeah, I really like this, and it's just a really solid, cool looking belt. So yeah, this was not too expensive. I think I essentially paid something like, I think it was 10 euro plus the shipping, so maybe 10 to 15. But I mean, it's in good condition, and it's just generally a very nice looking belt, if you ask me. So that's my second clothing find for this video. And now we actually only have one more thing which I want to show you. But I'm gonna bring this in, just putting some of the stuff to the side. So last on my pickup list today is actually another online find, and this came from Swedish eBay, very much the same as the belt did. And it is an import title, which is actually on Region 1 DVD. This is the movie Laid to Rest, which is a horror film by Robert Hall. And this is one of those films which I watched. It's been quite a long time since I watched it, but I remember liking it. And I just sort of spotted this on Swedish eBay and wanted to grab it, even though it's a DVD and I tend to sort of pick up Blu-rays. I did want to get this because I really liked the slipcase, and it has this really nice looking embossing, like the sort of metallic foil print to it. So yeah, I just thought this looked really good and really sort of captured the artwork in a nice way. And trying to look into this, it seems like this is probably a first pressing of the DVD. This is from Anchor Bay, and so it's a Region 1 DVD. So not the most common title to find on a Swedish marketplace. So with that, I sort of thought it was you know, fun pickup to just grab, because yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch this movie, and it doesn't really seem like it's a common title that you will find on most of the streaming services. So yeah, I figured it could be worth the money. I think this went a bit higher than I was expecting. I think I actually ended up paying something like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 euro thereabouts. So a bit of an overprice for a DVD. But then again, it's quite possible that this is fairly rare. I mean, it's not too common that you see this with the slipcase, and generally I don't think that this is a movie that has gotten too many collectible packagings for it. Even on Blu-ray, I think it is, you know, pretty much usually a standard release without really like a slipcase or digipack or whatever. So yeah, regardless of which, I thought this was a cool pickup just for the fact that it actually has a collectible case to it. Even though it's just a slipcase, I always try to, you know, grab something if there's, you know, something more than just a keep case. So with that, I am definitely happy to have grabbed this. But that is pretty much it. So not a lot of finds, and I have to say that generally this year, I am a little bit sort of, I suppose, disappointed with the car boot sale sort of, you know, I'm not going to say it's been a bad turnout, because the turnout has been pretty decent this year, but just so far I just haven't been able to find a whole lot of stuff. So I don't know what it is, you know, maybe just one of those years. But regardless of which, I am really happy with the stuff that I actually do find. So with that said, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and as usual, hope to see you all next time.